Do spirituality and religion have a place in recovery? Do spirituality and religion have a place in recovery? It's an honest question. Addiction reaches every aspect of a person's life, physically, emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. But what does that entail when spirituality means different things to different people? Addiction affects our loved ones, from family to friends, and even our co-workers. No one is left untouched when the disease of addiction rears its ugly head. But spirituality is ultimately a personal journey, with no two being the same. We reached out to people from different spiritual pathways to see how faith plays a part in their story.
People going through recovery, I think that they lean on God. They depend on Him. And they learn that it's not people's fault. Those are some of the people who've gone through addiction. They are some of the best folk because they learn that it's not me, it's not you, it's God. And if God would accept a wretch like me, then who am I to judge anybody else?
Where would recovery be without spirituality? Spirituality, to me, my understanding of it, is this journey to your higher power and better understanding of self. Recovery is all about learning who you really are outside of the things that brought your illness to fruition. Some people come from a history of abuse or neglect. Spirituality is finding out that you were perfect all along, and so you didn't need drugs to make you feel better because you have these terrible things that have happened to you in the past. You were perfect. You just needed to push out these negative voices that told you any different.
Until we really open up our spiritual side and, start growing there, we're empty. We're empty inside. That's the main reason people get on drugs and alcohol is they're trying to fill a void in their life. And, we can put as much heroin, as much alcohol in that void as we want, but every day we're going to wake up, it's going to be empty again.
It's important that we meet people where they are and not expect them to bend to our own personal agenda or beliefs in order to find a path to recovery. We need not judge the circumstances which brought them to a place of needing treatment. And that can be tough sometimes, as we all just want what is best for our loved ones. So, what can people of faith do to help their loved ones find a path to recovery?
I think what Muslims could do is implement their faith. That's a problem that we as Muslims have, especially in the West. We have a problem with implementing our faith, and our faith is to help other people. That is part of our faith.
Esteem everybody else as more important than yourself. No matter how you may look at that person as being evil, doing evil, not living up to your expectations, there's nothing small about being a human being.
It seems that across multiple faiths, people agree that one of the best things humanity can do is to offer grace and to reach a hand out to help those in need. And it does seem that faith can be helpful to people in recovery. The National Center of Addiction and Substance Abuse at Columbia University found that 79% of Americans believe that faith can help addicts recover from their addictions. And recovered individuals who have been sober for 2 years had greater levels of faith than those who fell into relapse after completing an addiction recovery program.
Certain rituals that we do is not only because we've been commanded to do so, but it actually helps with self-discipline and self-restraint. So when I was practicing those, slowly but surely, I left the addictions. So it was kind of like a filter for me in my life.
In the hospital, when I decided to get sober and turn my life over to God, I was in a state where I couldn't even go to the restroom by myself. That just takes every bit of manpower out of you. And I felt worthless, felt like dying. And when I surrendered to God and asked Him to help me through that, He gave me the hope that I needed to keep fighting, the hope to get up and go to exercises every day and learn how to walk again. God just gave me a hope and a peace that, you know, I would make it back and I would be better, and I wouldn't live as an alcoholic the rest of my life. He would give me a way out of it if only I would believe and trust in him.
I needed to be humbled. I needed to have God in my life. I had all this education. I had respect as a scholar, as a speaker. That fed my ego, and stuff that feeds your ego is so dangerous. And for me, spirituality, you know, having gone through addiction, having gone through an OD like that, humbled me very quickly.
Addiction has no religion. It will consume you regardless of race, ethnicity, morality, or economical or social backgrounds. It knows no bounds, limits, skin colors, or belief systems. Whether Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, atheist, or agnostic, it does not discriminate. But for those who find power in faith or spiritual connection, that can make all the difference in their journey to recovery. But what about those who don't subscribe to a particular faith or religion? What does spirituality mean to them?
I kind of view spirituality as a unique thing to everybody. You don't necessarily have to ascribe to a faith or believe in a higher power. I believe in the beauty of mankind, that we all can be the best we can be at any point in our lives. We just have to choose and strive for that. And I saw myself at the worst point I could ever possibly be, and I've seen myself be better, and I continue to strive forward for that every day. It's kind of just a belief that as long as I keep trying to do better every day and I keep trying to be a good person, I'll have the strength to soldier on continuously without faltering and relapsing, and just maintaining my recovery by being a good person on a day-to-day basis.
Moral of the story, there is no one-size-fits-all for addiction recovery. There are some that lean heavily on their faith in a higher power, and others who have different spiritual means. The most important thing in finding a path to recovery is one that works for you or your loved one. Recovery is a journey, and that journey begins with the first step.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, we're here to help. Give us a call at 888-216-4032. For new episodes of Around the Turn, make sure to hit subscribe below.